What's up, homies? What's up, homies? What's up, homies? Welcome to the Knowledgeable Homeowner Podcast. We pick the brains of industry pros to unlock the trade secrets of homeownership. Our mission is simple: to turn everyday people into knowledgeable homeowners. What's up, homies? Welcome back to the Knowledgeable Homeowner Podcast. I'm Sturdy Joe. Today, we are talking about windows. Here with me today, I have Aaron Levy, owner of our local Window World franchise.
Yep.
Thanks for coming in, man. How are you?
You got it. Doing all right. And yourself?
Great, man. Ready to geek out about some windows.
Yeah.
Today, I think, is a good day for it because it's middle of April, and we have one of those unusually warm. It's going to be warmer this afternoon.
Yeah.
So everybody's cracking open their windows today. So
Yeah.
it's like the first time, they really touch the window. So I think it's fitting. It's fitting for a nice warm spring day.
Definitely.
Where we're going to hear the creaks of the casement window, and their double hung windows are going to slam shut.
Yep.
So they're going to be thinking about it. But it's tradition here. Before we jump into it, give us a little backstory, how we got to be owner of our local Window World and how you came to be the window expert on the podcast today.
Yeah, so Window World has been around for a long time. Our first store opened up nationally in 1995. Since then, we've grown to over 200 locations. So been around for a long time. And then for myself personally, my father was in the home remodeling business, exclusively doing windows. Saw the direction his company was kind of going in and said, hey, I gotta start looking into something else.
Okay.
Saw the local franchise, saw the opportunity, and said to me and my brother, hey, would either of you be interested? And we said, sure. This sounds like something we'd want to learn more about.
One of your brothers?
Yeah, I have a younger brother. He's also involved in the day-to-day
Oh, that's
of things.
awesome.
Yeah, so family business.
Yeah. Sure, that gets fun.
Yeah, it's
a lot of good arguing.
Yeah. Interesting events all across the board. Sometimes at work, sometimes outside of work. It's
what are you gonna do?
Yeah. And we said, all right, let's give it a try. And then before we knew it, we started incorporating. So it's been about 18 years we've been here on Long Island. So my brother and I gradually added additional products. So we started exclusively with windows, and then we've grown to siding, to entry doors, storm doors, patio doors, garage doors, gutters, basically everything on the exterior.
Wow, that's interesting. So it's a multi-generational window business. So when you said your father's company did window installs or sold windows, what was the background there?
He worked for another company out of Westchester. They no longer exist, but they were a home improvement contractor, but they really did windows. They did a little bit of doors, but primarily exterior windows.
Now, growing up, were you going out and working with them, or you were just around it and you saw kind of the ins and outs of the business?
I saw it. He was he was in customers' homes. I saw his preparation the day before. This is before GPSs even, so he'd pull out his maps and figure out which streets.
I think about that all the time. I'm I'll be in the middle of the day, someone will give me a call, and sometimes we can work things out through our day, and it's just like 2 taps and I'm at the house, and I'm like, imagine I had to take out an atlas right now and highlight how to get to the route. So so the grind back then was different. But all right, so you saw him in the window industry, and then you made the jump, and so you and your brother got into the window. How did you land on Window World? How did that become a thing?
So we really liked the story, that kind of what Window World represents. So the company he worked for, those tactics and strategies are still utilized today. They take a mediocre product. It's okay. It's not great. Some of the brands that he used then still exist today, but they come in with this ridiculous price, and then they'd have this presentation that they do, presenting the window, talking about how it's made. You're going to hear this story over and over again because this is what companies, again, still do today historically. And then they have all of these crazy discounts and incentives if you buy right now today.
Yeah.
And kind of the Window World business model is what attracted us. Is we want to be transparent with our customers, giving our customers the best price the first time. So when he heard that strategy, he says, look, I don't like taking advantage of customers. In a typical home neighborhood like Levittown, where there's 20 houses that are exactly the same on the same block, why should one house be more expensive than the other if they need the same home improvements? Because one's just a little bit better of a negotiator, really.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's just a good sales process that went on there, and that was it. They were able to get more for the same thing.
You got it.
Okay.
So he really liked the transparency, he liked being honest, and he knew that if it was going to be a family business, to put that degree of honesty behind it, he goes, I could sleep good at night knowing that I'm honest with people. People are not going to come looking for me or find out that my neighbor got something cheaper.
Long Island is, at the end of the day, we're all essentially in a word-of-mouth business. The communities are too small. If you're near where you grew up, you ended up doing a job for somebody you went to school with. It happens to me. I grew up in Islip. I live in Islip. I do 90% of my work is in these neighboring towns.
Yep.
I mean, if I didn't know them already, I end up coaching their kids in soccer.
Sure.
You know, I have past clients' kids on my soccer team, you know, or like my son's friends with them in class. So it's like there's just, on Long Island, it's too small. So you do need to have, if you really want to last and you want a good reputation, you got to do the right thing.
The integrity behind it is huge.
With your industry, there is a lot of that. And before, I just want to step back just to clarify. Window World, like when I think of Window World, if I was giving no like prereqs of what you guys are you guys just a store where I go buy windows? Like what is Window World? What value do they bring to the homeowner?
So we're unique in that we're kind of that hybrid solution in the sense that we come out to your house, we do assessments, we figure out the products and services that you need, and then we supply and install all the materials, all the labor, everything. We stand behind it and warranty everything.
Okay, so you're a window installer.
We do, yeah.
Gotcha.
Windows, siding, doors, all of our own crews, full-time, that's what they do. They work for us. Mm-hmm. But above and beyond, we have a real showroom where a lot of general contractors don't.
Yeah.
So people can come to the showroom, they can look at the products, they can see full-size scales of things. They can see giant walls installed with siding, not just looking off a tiny little color swatch.
Yeah.
So we kind of give that big box feel with full-size displays, but we give that in-home.
Got you. So yeah, because siding in general is your curb appeal, and a little swatch is not going to do it.
Yeah.
Doors and windows are huge.
Yep.
So unless you bring a little mock-up from like Zoolander, where he's like, this is a school for ants. Like,
Yes.
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So you guys, all right. So like I said, if I did no background, I would know that you guys are a door, window, siding installer, and you also have like a very, very nice showroom.
Yeah.
Okay. So like some luxury or higher end regular contractors, they'll have a showroom showing off the bathroom and whatnot. You guys have showrooms, so we can just come in, we can take a look at everything before we get going. So do you guys primarily do only big renovations? Like if I just wanted to swap out a door or a window, is that something you guys get into, or you just do like the full swap outs?
So that's the unique thing, again, that kind of attracted us to Window World is I jokingly say this, we won't do anything less than one window.
Nice. Yeah, it's like, yeah, whatever.
But we will show up to a house for one window because we know that no home has one window. And a lot of people, especially in New York, unfortunately have been taken advantage of in some capacity. So doing that one window, if that's what you need today, that'll build the confidence that, hey, this company is going to come back, they're going to support it.
Yeah.
Building that relationships. It's a foot in the door, an opportunity to say, we're going to do the right thing by you, how big or how small the job is. It doesn't matter the zip code you live in or anything else. We want to make the right recommendations. And I mean, when it comes to siding, there's thinner builder grade products, and then there's ultra premium products. We have it all because there's not the right fit.
And every client's in a different part of their life. Where like when I did this house, I was pretty young, and we were just trying to get it done. Like I went value on material, but I knew that's what I was doing. So I signed up for that. And when I'm coaching potential home buyers or first time home buyers, listen, we'll get to a house and they'll have 30-year-old windows, and before we were talking about squeaky double hungs, you know, or they're slamming shut, or the casements are all missing the hardware. Like, yeah, they're getting to the end of their lifespan, but maybe they're not leaking. So we can monitor them, and this is where the clients will ask, well, what do I do? Well, what do you want to do? You can change all of the windows and all of the doors. People do it all the time, especially when you're doing siding. So maybe they're getting a really good deal on the house. They have a lot of money, and we're going to do, there's no better time to do the doors and windows than with the siding. That's like the best time to do it is all three at the same time.
Or at minimum, if somebody comes in and they see an opportunity, sometimes doing siding is more expensive than windows and doors.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of contractors that are happy to do your siding. And then they call me 2 or 3 years later and I go, you should have done your windows and doors first because it would have been cheaper. You would have saved thousands of dollars by doing your windows and doors. I like to think about it as the siding is the icing on the cake of your house.
Yeah,
if you drop the cake on the floor and you pick it up and you make the icing look good, nobody will ever know. The siding is really kind of fixing all that stuff. Change the windows if you got bad windows. Change the doors before you do the doors. The last thing you should be doing is your siding.
Why is that?
Because there's all of these flashing products that go in around windows and doors. It's waterproofing, it's air infiltration, it's all those things. When you do a window, you have to do it. When you do the siding, you have the flexibility.
Just to clarify, if somebody has no idea what we're talking about, when you're looking at the window, you have the window, the glass, you have the little frame that constructs the glass. What you're referring to is if we're looking at the side of a house, sometimes it's thicker or thinner, but we're talking about the trim, the picture frame around the window. So that's what we have to consider, not just for decoration, but for waterproofing.
Totally.
Okay.
And a lot of people, I mean, depending on how it's done, if it's done wrong, they're missing parts. a lot of people on Long Island are DIYers. I highly encourage people to do a lot of DIY things as long as it doesn't require waterproofing.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's kind of that threshold.
My MO is like, don't think about what you can get done. Think about what you can't fix if you mess it up. So like people will throw in a window if they're not considering waterproofing. You're gonna cause so much.
Yeah.
A significant amount of issues have been uncovered while I do construction or while doing a home inspection. One of my favorite things is like seeing a horribly flashed window or a back-pitched sill.
Yep.
Something so simple, and you don't even see it until it happened not too long ago. It was in Lindenhurst. Back-pitched sill, and I could kind of see in there, and I could see the wood rot, so I'm like, it's happening. You go in the crawl space underneath. Luckily, there was a crawl space underneath. It was a first floor window. The box beam, the floor joist, the sill was destroyed. It must have just been back-pitching for so long that destroyed the sheathing. A simple thing like proper flashing.
Well, there's another
so many issues.
Second most problem that I see, if not the flashing. A lot of windows have drainage systems built into it, kind of like gutters for windows. They're called weep holes. They allow water to escape. It allows so that there's no buildup. So many DIYers or bad contractors caulk right over them. Yeah, you knew exactly what I was about to say before I said it.
So much.
They do it so much, and then that water's got nowhere to go. So it kind of builds up, builds up, builds up. Before you know it, it's spilling into your walls. It's spilling into the house. People are saying, well, why are my walls no bad? Why they have issues? Why do they have problems? Why do I have mold?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even the window. It's the window above that's actually leaking into the first floor.
Gravity pulls the window down.
You got it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things to consider.
Yeah.
So in the process of, I have a house that needs a full renovation, but I'm going to try to push it down the road. Take care of our doors and windows first. Consider this how we're sealing the penetration, because doors and windows are a hole in the siding.
Yep.
And then we can finish the siding around it. Okay. But you guys will obviously you'll do the full scale of things, but you will also go and spot replace windows.
Yeah. So as much or as little as you need, basically is what we'll do. We can't really do repairs. That's the hardest part.
So like if I have a cracked pane, that's a glazer. We're calling a glazer to fix a cracked pane.
It depends. The problem is there's about 800 to 1,000 different brands of windows. On Long Island alone, there's probably 4 or 5 manufacturers for windows.
Yeah.
And they change their tooling every couple of years. And because they're on a smaller scale, sometimes trying to fix those things are almost impossible. Yeah. So you end up having to replace the entire unit. Mm-hmm. Or if a brand isn't that reputable, they don't even put their name on the window anywhere.
Yeah, I see so many nothing etched in the corner.
Yeah,
so you get a lot of Andersons. You'll see Andersons on the corner, but about it.
One of the best things that they did was put their brand on it. You can still buy parts, even if the window's 20 or 30 years old. You can still buy a part.
Yeah.
It might not make sense because the cost of it is maybe more expensive than just replacing the whole window.
Yeah.
But
it's an option.
I did an installation just this past week. It was a company. I'm not going to say who manufactured the company, but the manufacturer is here in New York. They manufactured the windows, and it's not even the manufacturer's fault. The person who installed the windows took 2 windows and butted them together, as opposed to ordering from the factory in one piece. And then when they
what do they call that?
Well, what it should be called is a mullion.
Mullion. Okay.
Yeah. So there's either some type of structural steel along the bottom, or there's pieces that snap in from the inside and the outside, something structurally holding it together from a waterproof perspective. Mm-hmm. They did none of it. They pushed the 2 windows together. They caulked it in the middle and the inside. They caulked it in the middle and the outside. But because the frame wasn't perfectly square, you could look between the 2 windows and actually see daylight.
Oh man.
Yeah. And these weren't that old. I'm replacing windows that were installed 5 years ago.
That I say a lot. I'll go into a house doing a home inspection, and we'll just be looking at a house that the homeowners are maybe retirement age or older. They did everything from the 90s to the 2000s when the kids were in school, but now the kids are in college. The kitchen's 20 years old, the roof's 30 years old, the boiler's 30 years old. We know those things are old. And I tell my clients, I'm like, listen, if it's not in your budget, it's not in your budget. But if you knew you were buying a little bit of a fixer-upper, that doesn't make me mad. Something getting old appropriately, it's got a life expectancy, it doesn't bother me. What bothers me is something that I'm assuming I have 20 years of life left on this thing, but because it wasn't installed right.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, it's not the material's fault. Yeah, you have lower quality stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But if you install lower quality with great practices, it will actually last a really long time, considering it's most of the time it's the install practices. That's what I found in most of the construction trades. Like when you get warranties, the manufacturers will warranty the work. They're just training the contractors how to install the exact same material perfectly. That's what the warranty is.
I love talking about warranties because if you read the warranty before you buy the product, you'll get an idea of the company, what they represent, and what it's going to cover. There are companies that charge unbelievable amount of money for their products and their windows and doors, and they have a very, very limited warranty, but at least they're being honest about it.
Okay.
On the opposite end, there are these really low-quality brands that they're really builder's grade. They're meant for somebody buying a home, flipping a home. They're intended for that market. They're not meant for somebody to live in long term and say, this is meant to last a long time.
It's smacking it in and being done with it. Yeah.
The warranty is almost nothing.
And
but
how
they're
can we
being
figure it
advertised.
out?
But they're being advertised from contractors in our space because they're coming in at $2,000 to $3,000 a window. That this is at that price point and tier, when they're just trying to justify that the product is worth more than it really is. And when they give you a discount to make it, instead of $2,000 or $3,000, they're calling it $1,500. Then it tries to make some false value when that window installed should be less than $1,000.
Yes,
That
yes.
same
It's just
exact
classic
product.
sales move. Yeah. So if people are getting sold a cheaper product, they think they're actually getting a deal because it's lower priced than the actual great product.
Yeah.
But we're not actually comparing apples to apples, because that's a big thing. We've had contractors come on here before, and it's like, I don't want a homeowner, like my goal with this is not to get a homeowner to install their own window.
Yep.
If you're not, like, it's not for everybody.
Yep.
I just want them to not get duped when
Yep.
they call somebody off the street. So what you're saying is if I'm calling somebody to do a window install, one of the things I can look out for is not comparing the numbers. We're talking about comparing the quality of the window installed.
Yep.
And when you were talking about the warranty,
Yep.
how could I, if I had two quotes, I had what ended up being the honest quote,
Yep.
and I have the less honest quote, how could I look at the warranties and notice the dishonesty?
Well, the first question you have to ask is, do you care about the warranty? Because some people, quite honestly, just don't care.
Homeowner, you're saying?
Some homeowners
Yeah.
just don't care about the warranty. They want in, they want done.
I
It's
wish
a garage.
I was. I was a warranty guy. It's just like when something breaks, besides technology, I'm big on technology warranties because I'm breaking my
Yep.
phone daily. That is the only warranties that I pull.
Yep.
Besides that, like, yeah, I'm bad with that. All right,
But, so
if
there's
they
some
care.
industries you might not care. If you're hiring a painter, you're not researching it.
Yeah,
When the painter's done, you're not calling him in 6 months, the paint isn't right, unless
Yeah.
something really went terribly wrong. People don't care. Gutters, there's no moving parts. Nobody cares. But there's certain industries, if you have an expectation for the product, hey, look at the warranty. Where is the warranty supported from? Is it local? Can I get the parts accessible? What's that turnaround time? But even just start at the simplest, anybody even just giving you a proposal for their products, you should have a copy of the warranty. You shouldn't have to ask for it.
Oh, cool.
They should supply it. They should say, even before they present and say, here, this is how much it costs. This is my product and this is the warranty. And they should offer it to you 100% of the time. We
Okay.
do that with windows, with doors, with siding. Roofing is a
So
whole
yeah,
other
when
mess.
you're giving me an estimate for the work, you are giving me all the information I need to know. You're being very transparent about what you're installing, so you're not being shady about it.
And then
in a
you
sense,
should also-
in a sense, you're bragging. You're in a positive way selling that. You're not selling the install. You're selling that great product that you're going to install too.
We want your peace of mind.
Yeah.
Because if you're putting this in, the last thing you're thinking about is doing it again.
Yeah. No, I think most homeowners are convinced that they're going to do it once in their entire time living there.
But if you
like
don't
that,
know what the warranty
they need to
is,
feel that way. Yeah.
then, hey, something goes wrong, and you said it perfectly. If something goes bad and you need somebody to fix it, you need somebody that can actually support it. So now you got the warranty, but now you need to dig into the company. Is the company just one guy? And that one guy decides, and let's not say something awful happens to him, and let's say something great happens to him. The guy made some money, he wants to move to Florida, and he doesn't want to work anymore.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Now what's your warranty?
Yeah.
So what's that support look like in that capacity? So it's the manufacturer for the product, it's the support, it's the actual, are they going to be around? And then also, are there any hidden costs? There's a lot of companies out there that charge $150, $200 just to do an inspection. Then they may give you the parts and they're not giving you the labor. Knowing all of those things and being transparent up front, at least you can make an informed decision.
So is it as easy as asking what are the fees here? Like, like I'm in the middle of trying to buy a car.
Yeah.
I'm trying to use a car, and
Yeah.
like I am like, where's my money going? I am not leaving it up to them. But like
Yep.
in that process, if I was getting a quote for the windows, like how would I ask that? You think?
Get it in writing.
Yeah.
Because
The
unfortunately,
total bill. What's my all-in price?
it's not only the all-in price, everything should be in writing. There's a lot of companies that are going to say, it's a lifetime warranty, don't worry about it. It's a lifetime warranty, don't worry about it. But when you read the fine print, it really isn't. Ours is so over the top and absurd. We cover broken glass. We cover anything you can imagine. We have a screen warranty. If your screen rips, you can take the screen to our office. We'll rescreen it for you, and then you come
I
back
like
and
that
put it
one.
back in.
Yeah.
But
Because our ISOP hardware store closed down, breaks my heart. The place
Yeah.
was there for 100 years,
forever.
and they used to fix the screens, and now it's like, oh, we don't have it anymore.
But there's a reason Home Depot, Lowe's, these big box stores dedicate 50 to 100 feet of their stores to screening repair,
Yeah, it
all the
happens.
parts, because it happens.
Yeah.
You have to anticipate things are going to go wrong. If I'm going to pretend that things never go wrong with home remodeling, it's a joke. It would be a lie.
So is there a manufacturer's warranty and is there an installer warranty? Do you guys have a separate warranty that is different than the manufacturer's?
There should be, because the manufacturer generally doesn't cover labor. Labor is going to be the person who's installing it. So pick any major brand of window or door or anything else, and then is it installed properly? Because the manufacturer is going to look for any out. If it's not installed properly, they're going to say, sorry, go back to the company who installed it.
Yeah.
So we also want to make sure that, and here protect yourself as a homeowner, find out who's installing it. What is their credibility? There's certifications for almost everything. So for entry doors, Therma-Tru happens to be one of the biggest brands in the industry. Are they a Therma-Tru certified installer?
Okay.
Vinyl siding has its own dictations. It's called the VSI, the Vinyl Siding Institute. Are they VSI certified?
Nice.
For windows and doors, there's AMA. They've rebranded a little bit, but AAMA is the brand. They have their own training for the installers.
So any of these reputable companies installing your doors and windows, like this is the minimum. Like this is the thing we're asking for, is one way to vet out who's installing our doors and windows and siding.
The problem is generally homeowners never heard of these brands or never heard of these things, so they don't know. So the credibility comes on the person in your home saying, oh, my installer's been doing this for 50 years. But sometimes they've been doing it wrong for 50 years.
That's the biggest thing in construction. I've been doing it for 30 years. You've been doing it wrong for 30 years. Because there's always, that mindset alone lets me know that you're not staying up to date on the newest ways to install, the newest materials. That's a reoccurring thing we have in here, is like, I love staying leading edge. It's changing every day.
Flashing tape didn't exist 50 years ago when you're doing windows and doors.
Yeah.
Spray foam didn't exist. So many of these products, how could you be doing it the same exact way? No, you have to constantly be going and our manufacturers that we have vendor partners, they're phenomenal. And they have to be, because they want the product installed the right way.
Yeah.
And part of the reason we can offer such a great warranty, things don't generally go wrong if you install it the right way.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Otherwise, I'd be doing warranty claims 10 days a week. I'd have to have crews on top of crews just doing repairs.
The cost business-wise to do it right versus doing wrong. Like, in the immediate, maybe training the guy super fast and banging it out, it'll get you a year or two of good business, but in the long run, you're just destroyed. Where it's like, it's literally just changing your process, maybe spending a little bit more on materials, but you're getting a good price for the install. Use the best materials. Knowledgeable Homeowner Podcast, we're big on good materials and best practices, because there's code is the worst you're legally allowed to install something. And in some cases, you only have to do code. It's not that you always have to excel out of code, but what we're looking for is best practices. What are the best practices, especially with waterproofing?
Well, so when we talk about sealants, you walk into a big box store, there's ones for kitchens and baths, there's for this, there's so many, but there's exterior ones, there's interior ones, there's professional grade ones that are not even available to purchase for homeowners, that you can only buy at big scale and big level. The same thing, we were talking about the flashing trim that goes around windows, the aluminum trim coil. They make various grades of that. The least expensive one is called a poly trim coil. Above that, there's a coated material called PVC. Above that is our standard that we use. It's called a high performance trim coil, and it has a matte coated on it that actually will hold up to island conditions. There's salt water on our air. So aluminum products, there's a lot of times when we use aluminum exterior, it pits, it fails, it doesn't hold up.
Well, I think we're doing a lot of dark trim now.
Oh, yeah.
And listen, white trim, it's going to go from white to algae stained, you know, for the most part. Besides the pitting and the salt deteriorating it. But I think the dark trim is where it's going to get so exposed, where we're going to see the difference between quality of material. Because it's going to just get discolored, salty, stainy, nasty. So I think that's going to be a big thing, is the difference in material. So when we're looking at a quote too, if I'm getting a full quote for a full siding, doors, and windows, we're not just comparing the big materials. We can compare the smaller materials too.
That's the stuff that's going to, there's 20 companies. I mean, how many brands of siding really exist in the industry? Realistically, here in New York that's readily available, it's 5 or 6.
Yeah, a handful of them.
So there's a hand time that I'm giving a proposal to a customer, and they may have a proposal for something fairly similar. So what's going to be the difference? Well, the irony is when you're at a big scale, I'm generally buying the products for less expensive than other people. So if somebody's trying to undercut costs, where are they cutting corners? A lot of it's, let's use the least expensive caulking products. Let's skip the flashing tape. The house wrap that we're using, let's go with the lowest grade, because I'm not even going to bother talking about those things. But all of those pieces are the waterproofing pieces, because once it's done and installed, it looks the same. That's the hard part. Day one, it looks the same. But what does it look after 3 years? What does it look after 5 years? That dark color on the exterior, is that going to hold up? Did somebody tell you that if you put a storm door on a black door, that most manufacturers avoids the warranty because you've got too much heat buildup between the two pieces of glass?
Oh, that's funny.
Or it could melt the glass, or the parts that they called like the lip light frame that holds in the glass. Most manufacturers, it'll melt. There was a big company on Long Island, and I don't think they exist anymore. They're called Elegant Entries. And they had, at one point, 20, 30 locations, older than both of us. But they were huge at one point. I've seen time and time again, they had these metal doors and had this plastic moldings on the doors. And it looked great for a long time. Then everybody here on Long Island got obsessed with storm doors, which, fine, if you've got small kids, pets, they're great. They put them on, and then all of these things started kind of moving
Warping.
or falling off the wall, warping. But also, those doors, more than likely, when they were originally installed, were all white. Now, black and brown and blue and red, all these amazing colors are coming into doors, and it's just failing.
Yeah.
And it's just deteriorating these products. But having that insight, that warranty, if you read it, tells you that. So even if you're considering buying something from a big box store, not saying that their products are bad, because some of them are still good, some of them are comparable
There's
to what you get
multiple
everywhere.
lines to everything. Yeah, you can get good, better, and worse.
But if you look at what the warranty is, and it says, will avoid warranty if you install a storm door, well, it's telling you something about the quality of the product, or at least giving you some guidance on what you should and shouldn't do.
Okay.
If it's a garage space, if it's a side door, if it's not a main entrance, you might not do a storm door there anyway. You might say, this is fine for this application. But a lot of the times, if you plan on doing this right, you plan on doing it once, you don't want to think about it, will it cost you a little bit more today to do it right? Maybe. But it's not that high pressure end of it where it's 3 times the price without justification. You're getting that warranty, you're getting that peace of mind going, I know this is going to be right.
Well, I mean, for me, I love doing this podcast. And one of the things I said before we started, was like, this is a place to geek out about what you do.
Yeah.
To me, that's somebody who's passionate about what they're doing.
Yep.
So I know that. Obviously it's a business. You need to make good money. It's an expensive place to live. It's an expensive place to operate. And I want you to make money because I want you to be happy and I want you to confidently install my stuff. But I do think that I have a different, I'm lucky. I have conversations with contractors all the time. I get the inside scoop. So I don't need to have the classic, you sit down in my kitchen, you write out a quote for me.
Sure.
Because I'm vetting you in conversations like this.
Yep.
But in a sense, I wish almost a homeowner would let a salesperson do that. Obviously, you know more than maybe the regular, like a lower level salesperson.
Sure.
But it's like, there's so much experience in what you're saying. Everything you're saying is coming from that place of experience that it will give a homeowner more confidence when we're not just talking about how great everything is. Like, yeah, everything's great. You're going to love it. It's going to be beautiful. It's new. Of
course
when
it
you're
is.
talking about, like you said, in this application, actually, I don't recommend you doing this in this application.
Yep.
You will be happier in the long run. In 20 years, you'll remember I told you to do the right thing.
Yep.
And I think it just needs to be more of a conversation about the install. Price is huge. Got to talk about price.
Sure.
But in my opinion, I've heard a little bit of the high pressure sales stuff. I actually was lucky enough to be able to sit in randomly on a family friend's old person getting high pressure sales from one of the companies.
Yeah.
And it was none of that.
Yep.
It was none of that. It was you should do it now. It was scare tactics, and it was unbelievably overpriced. It was crazy.
So outside of watching the chaos of Today News, which is just typical for in this day and age, but there is no scare tactics. These products generally don't fluctuate in price. They're not traded on the stock market. It's not. Windows shouldn't be $50,000, but if you buy today, $25,000. It's not that type of.
Where are the windows that you install typically made?
Almost everything. So 100% of the products that we supply and install are actually made here in the United States.
Cool.
So that's a great thing. That includes the glass, that includes the vinyls, the frames.
Oh, so actually even the components of the window. It's not like the window's just assembled in Pennsylvania. Like the components are domestic too.
Correct.
So tariffs don't affect that directly. They might, we don't know, but.
So some of the aluminum products have been kind of influenced a little bit. Some of the doors.
I feel like an apple can get grown down the block for me, and they're gonna upcharge at 8% because of tariffs. Like now it's like with COVID, everyone in the building industry was able to double their prices because of the pandemic. Those prices never came back down, but the reasons it got higher went away. So it's like.
So tariffs as itself is probably its own conversation because it's just so complicated.
Yeah, there's a lot that
Some
goes
of
into it.
them, some products were affected that I didn't expect to. Some products I expected to be completely didn't. So I think it helps us learn a little bit about as kind of what actually is made here in the country.
Yeah.
But majority of our products are made here in the United States between Pennsylvania and West Virginia. We also, in addition to doing vinyl products, we actually have an architectural product, which is a wood interior and an aluminum clad exterior. They're unique in the sense that they actually manufacture the products here in the United States, but they actually own the forests in Chile where they
Nice.
make the wood.
That's cool.
So it's kind of an American-made product,
Yeah,
but
and
they
it's a South American
control.
wood, so it's probably a nice piece of wood. Yeah.
Yeah. So because they own that control and that supply chain, they're not going to get directly affected the same way some of these other products are. But that product is not made for. It's not for everybody. It has a specific application. It's going to be more comparably priced to a product that maybe you've seen that's more of these ultra premium products.
Yeah.
But you're going to get the value for it. You're going to get these ultra premium features on it that far outweigh the benefits that you're getting something comparably priced. But it's specific for an application. There are certain homes, specifically Long Island, that are now protected by architectural review boards. They
Yeah.
require you can't do the grids inside the glass. It has to be on the outside. You need to use a wood species. Sometimes you need to specify, is it pine? Is it knotty alder? Is it Douglas fir?
Yeah.
We can get granular like that.
Yeah, I've seen some of the villages. I know that's like a thing where they won't let you do certain work, so that's how detailed it gets.
So there's parts of Forest Hills that require you to get a specific color green window.
Oh my God.
So, and there's parts of Great Neck that we've done work in Kensington that the modern house has to stay modern and the Tudor style house has to stay Tudor.
Wow.
So it's
Yeah.
so unique as far as what those applications are, and that's why we have that architectural grade product. But everything here, for the most part, is made here in the United States, so it does make repair work, it makes ordering. I can get things unbelievably quick.
Yeah, you have a
because of the
relationship with
relationships.
with your suppliers.
And that's part of the reason our warranties are so good is because we can stand behind it. We can get you the right products. We can support it. We can service it. But we can get it done in a timely fashion, too. So when you're doing the research, you're sitting down with somebody telling you need home improvements. Hopefully they didn't knock at your door because a lot of the times somebody knocks at your door and says, you need home improvements.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it, but today apparently I need new windows. Yeah.
So at your discretion, hey, I think I need new windows. Representative, and not just Window World, anybody should do this. They should look at all your windows in your house, and they should be honest with you. They should say, this window, I agree with you. This window, I agree with you. Actually, this one's not that bad. Or this is X brand of window, and just buy the replacement parts. Or let me get you in touch with somebody who could help you with this repair.
Yeah.
Just be honest. Just be transparent. Get a copy of the warranty. Find out where the product is made. Because here's the other problem. How good is the warranty if the manufacturer is not around? If the manufacturer can't bring anything in? If the manufacturer can't actually get you the replacement parts? Because then the warranty is useless. Then the last piece of the puzzle is they should be licensed and insured.
Oh, absolutely.
And they should be able to show you a copy of the license and insurance, but better yet, it should be current. The most common thing in this industry, I hear all the time, they have a copy of the insurance, but the insurance expired 6 months ago.
Oh my God.
Because insurance is expensive.
Yeah.
To do business the right way costs money, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You're 100% right, we're not a non-for-profit, but we want to do things the right way, and we want to be responsible, and we want to kind of give back to the community.
Yeah, because it's more profitable in the long run. It's way more profitable in the long run.
It's sustainable, and that way I don't have to hide. I don't have to hide my face if I see a customer going, in the supermarket or anything.
Yeah, you can
I have
be
no
proud.
problem being here and doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're getting close to wrapping up here. Before we go, is there anything today? Because I do think I want to have you back, and we're going to do like a nitty-gritty breakdown. What is a window? We'll go over the different types because I think there's a lot of good value you can bring. You know a ton about windows. But is there anything you wish just every homeowner knew off the top, about either windows or your industry? Is there just one simple thing you wish everybody knew?
I think the most important thing is making sure you're knowing exactly what you're getting.
Okay.
Get it detailed. Get it in writing. There's no handshakes in this industry anymore. You're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Anything that's an agreement between two people, get all of it in writing. And if you're asking somebody to write that down for you and they're not willing to do it, slow the process down, pause it, say, hey,
because that's where they're going to sneak something in. So yeah, give me the sheet, put it on paper. Let's
if you've
keep
got
everybody
any
honest.
questions, they shouldn't be hesitant to write it down.
Yeah, I mean that's just the truth. Is if I'm a very honest person, I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Yep.
Because of that, I'll lay it all out there for you. I have nothing to hide. So I won't take it as an insult where
Yep.
it's like, listen, where are you getting me? We're not getting you nowhere. This is it. I'll sign right here and tell you this is exactly what it is. So that's the same logic we want to do when somebody's selling us, especially for, if we're doing the doors, windows, and the siding, it can add up. So we want to make sure we're getting the exact price and we know exactly what we're
The
doing.
house, realistically, most of the time is the most expensive thing that you own. Is it the most valuable? No, maybe, your health is probably takes number one, but outside of that, number two is your home because that's what's protecting you, your family, protecting everybody in the home. Do your due diligence, do your research, but make sure somebody is being very, very, very transparent with you and giving you all the information and not hesitant to answer any questions. They might not have the answers 100% of the time.
Sometimes
that's okay.
Sometimes them admitting that is the best answer you can get because now
Yeah.
I know, like, oh wait, everything else they said is probably true because when they don't know,
Yeah.
they admit that they might not have the right answer.
But can they get in touch with the right person and can they get back to you in a timely fashion to say, hey,
That too. Yeah.
and then be there at the installation. If you're getting work done, be there. Everything the person said they were going to do, make sure that they're actually doing. And you can actually walk around. If you have any questions, maybe don't get your hands dirty and get involved in the installation.
Give them a little room to breathe, but just double check everything. It's your home.
It's your home. You should know exactly what you're getting, and they should demonstrate and let you know that you should be comfortable with what you got.
All right, perfect, man. I appreciate all the info. If you want to take a second,
Sure.
just let the people know where to find you if you're on
Yeah.
Instagram and your website and whatnot.
Check us out. Where our office is in Farmingdale, 33 Hempstead Turnpike. We have a beautiful showroom. We're open 6 days a week. If you want to have somebody meet with you, call in advance. We have a great Instagram account, constantly content going up, talking about different contests, different giveaways, learning about products. You can find us just about everywhere and anywhere. So you could call us direct. You can call us on our 800 number, 516-377-3500, direct to our office. But we'd happy to come out and help you with any of your home improvement needs and, most importantly, be honest with you.
That's it. Thank you so much for coming on. I
You got it.
appreciate the info.
Yeah.
Looking forward to doing another one with you.
Yep.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, stay knowledgeable.